What is up, everybody? This is Corey James of Carbonstone, and you are listening to Beyond the Breakdown with Six Scars.
What's up, everybody? You are listening to Beyond the Breakdown with Six Scars. I'm the host, JT. I am joined tonight by Travis. Is it Keziah? I'm going to say it wrong.
No, you nailed it. Actually,
Oh.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you were one of like 3,442 people that have ever gotten that right on the first time.
Dude, I was so worried. I was like, man, it's going to be an offensive thing.
Nah.
And I am joined by the drummer as well, Jim Clardy. And for those that don't know, Travis is the vocalist and main guitarist or rhythm guitarist?
I mean, you can call me whatever you want to. Just don't call me late for dinner.
I feel you on that. So for those that don't know who Scars Remain is, why don't you give them a little bit of a breakdown on who you guys are?
Scars Remain is a passion project. We are honestly the remnants of a couple of projects that have gone by the wayside over the years. We all found each other through some, mutual friends and some other likewise. We're just four dudes that like to get together, write some kick-ass music, and enjoy it, man. Help spread some positivity in a world that needs it.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
We kind of say we were though at the misfit toys.
Yeah.
The ones that didn't work in other bands, and we came together and formed our own band.
I mean, I think some of the best bands are created that way, though, right? Like, so, I mean, that will lead me into the question, like, what was kind of the origin for you all to get together?
Well, unfortunately, he couldn't join us tonight, but our guitarist Kyle, I'll call him. He was let's say persistent. We put this project together quite a few years ago, and I had just had a kid, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this, and I don't have time. I don't know. And then finally, I was like, all right, let's see what happens. I'll get together. We'll go jump in a room together and strike a couple chords, and it just worked, man. We've been through a couple of iterations since. Jim coming on board is really kind of where things started to go upward a few years ago. So it, the three of us, me, Andy, and Kyle are the OGs. Jim came in a couple years after, and it's been gold since, man.
Man, well, we definitely have quite a bit to dive into because I've been listening to your entire release discography for the last week.
Thank you.
Dude.
Thank you.
Like, no, thank you, because some of the stuff you guys touch on, it's deep, man. It's really deep, and it shows in the videos and the music, and I really can't wait to get into it. So since we've established the early beginnings, what were some of your inspirations? Like, we'll start with you first, Travis.
I mean, I come from a little bit all over the place, man. I'm a mixed bag when it comes to influences. I mean, things all the way back to, some early Metallica, all the way to like Matchbox 20 to, even more modern, like A Day to Remember is one of my favorite bands of all time.
Yes.
So I mean, Bullet for My Valentine, really just taking a lot of those influence and kind of put them all into a pot and seeing what comes out. There's a lot of flavors there. And, and for Kyle, I know Alice in Chains and, is one of his biggest influences ever. You can even hear it a lot in his guitar riffs, a lot of Jerry Cantrell in there. And, and then Andy, I think he would tell you the same. He'll listen to anything. And then, of course, Jim, take it away.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same thing. I'm looking at the chat here. It says, "Don't say Britney Spears." I was just thinking, what? No Britney?
She's a little toxic.
Dang.
But,
I mean, that's a great point, really. I mean, I'm the oldest guy in the band, so I grew up on FM radio, before the internet, before all that. And when I was younger, I mean, you would hear. Well, I mean, look at like MTV and all that stuff. You would hear anything from Lionel Richie to Van Halen to Michael Jackson to Fleetwood Mac, all right in a row, and that's when I first started playing that. I'm playing to the radio. I'm playing to that stuff. So you're going from a rock tune to what you'd call early heavy metal to, a soul song, a dance song, whatever. And that's kind of what I cut my teeth on. And of course, I kind of went into the rock vein, but man, everything. I listen to everything. If it's good, it's for me.
Hell yeah.
And we've always kind of taken the approach when it comes to writing too, man. We're not going to try to put ourselves in a box. If it's a good song, it's a good song. Sometimes some of them may be really heavy, some of them may be a straight up ballad. Me and Kyle are working on a couple that are very dancey. So I mean, honestly, man, it's you never know what we're going to get in when we get in the lab, what's going to happen.
The cool thing too, though, I mean, if I may, is like I think we've got enough of our own personalities in it, where even if it's changing genre, so to speak, or kind of blending the two, there's still that Scars thing that's in it, and it kind of just goes with it, and it's just us.
Absolutely. That's what I was thinking, like when I was listening to your all's music. Like you definitely have a distinct sound, even though the style of the song may be a departure. Which will lead me into, honestly, my first question as far as the music goes. And what's the story behind Still Standing?
I mean, honestly, it was the first song we ever wrote as a band. That the night that me and Kyle got together for the first time ever. And we were actually just kind of jamming and dicking off. I mean, I'll just call it what it is. And that song kind of came out. It came from a place for me vocally. The lyrics kind of came from a place of, I don't want to throw any shade at the past, right? It is what it is. But, some things had happened along the way that kind of led me to feel some type of way about some things where I felt discarded, kind of to Jim's point, like, we're on the island of misfit toys. And basically that was my self-affirmation in a way that I don't need anybody else's validation to be able to continue doing what I love to do. And that song kind of started the trend of the songs that you hear moving forward, where everything that we write about, man, especially me from a lyric perspective, it's all real. This is all stuff that I've dealt with or that I've used to cope, or even I give the listeners, the audience, a peek behind the curtain of my own pain. And then in times, the ultimate goal is that somebody else can find some solace in not having to deal with that pain themselves.
Absolutely. And Jim, do you have anything to add to that?
I mean, lyrically, I haven't really added much to anything in Scar's catalog, but it's kind of this. He's absolutely right. I mean, it just comes from all over, and sometimes even to take it a step further, sometimes it's even we're telling stories of friends. Like we'll have friends that are going through stuff, and that comes out. And you start writing those lyrics. I've been there in the studio, and it's like what is that about? And sometimes it takes weeks. Even you reflect back on and go, oh, wait a minute, that's what I was talking about. And it just kind of comes from all over the place.
Well, I mean, we've already kind of touched on the other one that I was going to ask, which was the styles that shaped Scars Remain. We've talked about all your influences and everything, and the kind of combination of it all that it has now become your sound. What was that process like, kind of like identifying it?
I don't know that there ever really was a process. It was organic.
Okay.
We kind of just let it be what it is, and not trying to force the issue. You hear that in a lot of bands, even songs that, bands that have had out for decades. Metallica is a prime example of that, right? I'm not the biggest Metallica fan, right? But Metallica will even tell you that they found themselves trying to write to the style that they had, kind of pioneered. And it left them feeling at the end of the day, they hated each other because they were trying to force something that wasn't natural or organic.
Just stale.
Yeah. And I mean, and even still, like, me and Jim were talking about this the other day. We're 7 years into this project, right? And really only over the last couple have we really started to see that upward trajectory, right? And I think it's a testament to the fact that we weren't trying to force it. We let the music speak for itself, and you just try to be good people on the surface and treat people how you want to be treated. I mean, it goes back to the golden rule, right? And then for the style shaping, I mean, really just, let it be, let it breathe. And, ultimately when something's real, you can feel it. Right.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, I mean, while we're talking about the style and the songwriting process, what is it like when it comes to doing the guitars and laying down the melodies and everything? And then also, what is it like doing the drums for a Scars Remain track? Is it a lot of like trial and error? Is there some that you get like kind of right away?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Jim.
No,
Tee that one up.
for drums anyway, this is the most unusual situation I've had. And for I'd say 90% of the music we've written, some of it we've been in a room just banging it out, and it comes out like traditionally would. But mostly it's Trav. Trav will be writing stuff at home, and he'll actually program the drum parts at home.
Okay.
And Trav, he'll tell you he's not a drummer, but he writes some of my favorite drum parts. So that's been kind of cool. And not only that, and we've been working with Pangea Music Group. Is that
Pangea Creative Group? Yeah.
Creative Group, and with Jordan and Sam there, and they've been kind of co-writing a lot of our songs too, and they'll be ones programming drums as well. And again, same situation, not drummers, but writing incredible drum parts. And I'll get these things basically handed to me, and it's like, here, this is an idea, do what you want with it, keep what you want, replace it, whatever. And 9 times out of 10, I'm like, man, I'm trying to figure that out because it's spot on. So it's been kind of cool. It pushes me as a player because it's ideas that I've never would have thought of, and it's just it's just weird. It's like like everyone has their own style and their own way of doing things. You'll lead with your left hand or your right foot or what have you, and with these parts that are there, it catches you off balance. So it makes me have to grow as a player, and I find it insanely fun to be able to get in there and just try to nail what they've got written. Every now and then you'll come up with a part that I'm like, I don't really like that. I'll throw something else in there, but for the most part, I'm just doing what they lay down.
Hell yeah. So
it's a cool process when Kyle and I, and it really is dependent on kind of where we're at. Kyle and I will get together here. I'm at my studio in my house. I have a basically a lab here at the house that I was adamant when we built this, or when we bought this house. I was like, all right, we can do whatever you want to. We can buy whatever house you want to, but I have to have a studio. Thank you, Jana. Thank you for checking the page out.
Thank you.
I
forgot you could respond vocally or verbally. We were trying to type.
I've been trying not to interrupt you guys. We've been getting bombarded with all these comments, so just
No, but so I mean, it's really dependent on the process. Jordan Matachion, you may know him from he's the front man for a band called Killicoy, also out of Charlotte. And Sam Oakletree, I believe that's how you say his last name. Sorry, Sam, if that's not right. But I call him Sam Wise because the man's a wizard. But the process is we've actually kind of shifted the way we write as of late. Whereas we were, writing a riff, try to force vocals to it, and sometimes it just didn't feel natural. Whereas now we're coming in with kind of an idea, a melody, and then we try to write and shape the song around the melody versus trying to force a melody into something that's already kind of there. And then when we kind of get in the lab with me and Kyle, man, it's honestly, it's there's no telling what's about to happen. He'll come in with an idea, and then we'll lay it down, and then we'll listen back at it, and we're like, I don't know, that's not really that cool. Let's do something else. And then it just kind of again, it's all organic. We try to just let it happen naturally, and it's not one of those situations where it's like, all right, we got to sit down and write 3 songs today. I don't care if they're good or bad. It's I did a songwriting challenge last year where I was literally trying to write a new song per week, right? Fully fleshed out, fully produced, ready to go. And honestly, it just kind of put me in a position where I was just writing in the same box, right? I mean, you could have taken 3 of those 5 songs from that month and all the riffs were similar, right? And getting it with the Pangea boys, and Kelly's a part of that as well. She does a great job with the videography. Getting together with them has really helped us kind of shape a new process that really helps, honestly, speed up the creative process. I think we're writing some of the best music of our careers right now, and it's really fun.
Dude, I can't wait to hear what you guys are working on, because like you said, when it's organic, it flows so much easier and your heart is more into it. You're not feeling like you're forcing yourself to be basically a whore writing something.
Yeah.
Will Brawley has a question. He says, do you guys try to balance any sort of commercial appeal to your music to get maybe booked for tour packages? you said you let things happen how they happen, but I feel that there's got to be at least some sort of commercial element to the sound for radio labels if you want to be signed or looked at.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. It was never about that for me.
Mhm.
I got into doing this, really just as an element of therapy for myself, if that makes sense. It was never about catching clout. I was never trying to chase fame. I never really wanted it. It's uncomfortable. Now, if it happens, it happens, right? Yeah, but to your point, Will, there is, I guess, to a degree, when we're in the studio, hey, will this potentially get radio play? I mean, it's certainly a question, right? But it's not the primary focus. If we get picked up for a tour package, excellent.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I'm a God-fearing Christian man. I'm not going to sell my soul to get, for fame. I'm not going to go that route and, to forget who I am, to become something that is a shell of who I used to be.
Right on, man. Right on. So let's talk about Rabbit Hole. That was one when I was listening. Like, I appreciate you all so much because you actually put the intention of the song in the description. So it makes it so much more like a gravitational pull on the song for me. And that meant the world to me. And Rabbit Hole deals with observing a person in addiction. What was writing that one like for you personally?
If I can be honest, I mean, that's what we're doing here, right? I'm just going to be honest. I wrote that song from a third, I wrote that song from a third person perspective about myself. And it really was a long, hard look in the mirror. And I went through some stuff, man, and I know we all have. Everybody's got shit, right? Yeah, but taking a look in the mirror is one of the hardest things we'll ever have to do as a human being. To take accountability for your actions and go in that route. And I found myself going down a path in my 20s that honestly, if I hadn't been for meeting my now wife, I'm not so sure I'd still be here. And there was a lot of introspective, kind of taking a look in the mirror to kind of write that song. And honestly, I was talking to myself in a lot of those cases, because there'd be days I'd wake up and not remember a thing, or now it never got to the point of like heroin or anything like that, but it just we all deal with things in different ways, right?
Yeah.
And I chose substance instead of something a little bit more valid, and so yeah, that song kind of holds a special place, but now looking back at it and playing it still, right, years later, it's kind of it almost is healing in a way to play it now, to look at the frame of mind I was in when I wrote it to versus where I am now. It's really cool, because I think that's the beauty of being a musician, is you can look back on those periods in time when you were writing about certain things, or you can even tell by the tone or the substance of the song, kind of where you were. And it's a really good measuring stick of the growth you've been through as a person.
Yeah, I completely agree. It really hit a nerve with me because I'm a recovering, I'll never say recovered, but I'm a recovering alcoholic. And also I've been clean off of, anything else since I was about 18. So like,
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man. And to anybody that's listening, I don't say that as like a bragging point. I'm saying, like, if I can do it when I was in the throes of it, like, you can definitely do it too. And that song really, like, I mean, I was sitting there listening to it and I ended up getting goosebumps. And it means the world to me that you guys are so vulnerable in your songwriting as well, because there's some people that are, they'll act all tough and they just want to come off as like the most hardcore band ever. And like, fuck your feelings. They don't matter. It's, but at the end of the day, like, our feelings absolutely matter, and they tend to dictate how we live our life.
Yeah. I mean, that's all. At the end of the day, that's all we are. That's just your personality. That's just who you are, and all that stuff. Everyone will fight when they have to, everyone will love when they have to, but it's the stuff in between that makes you who you are, and that's what we share. That's what we share as friends and family, and that's the meat and potatoes. That's life. And
Yeah.
so I think that's why we tend to. That's what we talk about. That's what we sing about. That's what we play for.
Yeah, absolutely. Will
Will,
Brawley.
yeah, I was
Uh,
gonna say, Will, man, thank you for sharing that. That's heavy.
yeah,
Um, I can't say that I didn't find myself in the same situation. Honestly, where that song kind of stemmed from is in a similar kind of light. I still drink. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes a little too heavily. Um,
same.
but the it I don't use it as a coping mechanism anymore. Um, and I'll give you a lot of credit. Dropping that cold turkey, man. That takes some balls, man. The withdrawals coming off of that can be some of the hardest thing you'll ever deal with.
Yeah. Yeah. For those that don't know, because I see I got quite a few watchers this time around. Thank you guys so much for turning out for the Scars Remain episode. It means the world to me. Will runs his own podcast based around music as well, called the Liars Pacifist Podcast. So you guys should definitely hit him up as well. It would be an entirely different kind of conversation, but I think you guys would love it. Absolutely. And then
let's
we
link
also
up. Will hit the DMs, man. We'll link up.
there you go. There you go. And we also have Melanie Nix in the house of the Nix's podcast. Wanted to be sure to give her a shout out. Absolutely love these people. I would not be here without either of them. Another song I wanted to ask you guys about, and I know I'm just picking your brain, so like if you need me to, just tell me to shut up.
Yeah.
What was it like writing Get What You Give and the attachment to it, because it's seen from, like you said in the description, it's seen from both sides of a relationship. So what was it like to write that? Was it cathartic? Was it painful?
Cathartic is definitely the word I would use. And again, like just kind of double down on what I said. A lot of the songs I write are real for me. This is all stuff I've experienced in dealing with, and not to call names, but you find yourself in a situation where you're constantly being blamed, or you're constantly taking the shot, right? And again, it really comes down to, you're going to notice a theme here. It's all about taking a look in the mirror. My wife, it drives her crazy because I say it often. Don't look at me, look in the mirror. It's it's kind of become a running joke in our house, but it's that was cathartic in a way, because I was explaining my side of the story, and then also trying to put myself in the shoes of somebody else who would be in that position to be able to retort, if you will. And that song is again, it's cathartic in a way, because it really helped me heal that relationship that was damaged, and taking that look at it through a different lens. It really, honestly, that relationship is now better than it's ever been. And, it took me having to take a look in the mirror, and kind of, and kind of seeing where, I was at fault for some of that stuff that may have happened.
Absolutely. And I have to say this about the song: that has one of the most catchy choruses I've heard in the last freaking year and a half, man. Like I found myself humming it today at work, and I was like, I hadn't listened to this in like 3 days. What the hell?
shout out Pangea Creative Group. That's a Jordan special right there. That melody is on point.
It absolutely was, man. Like it sucks you in, right? Like it's just like you're hinging on every word.
It's one of my favorite songs to play live too. I think Throws Down.
Oh, dude, I could only imagine.
Jim does this cool fill in the it goes like a and then it's anyway, it's drummer talk, but it every time he hits it, it gives me goosebumps.
Well, what is it like having the fan base that you guys have? Because it seems ravenous. Like you guys have been hard at work with it. Like it seems like you guys have this absolutely loving fan base. And what is the importance of the interactions that you give them?
Honestly, it's friends. They're friends. I mean, we've been at it long enough to where I don't know. I don't consider it a fan base anymore. They're just friends, and you've gained more and more and more. So it's just like it's hard to say, talk to the fans, because they're all just friends, and they become, we talk with them routinely. They come to the shows, we hang out, outside of that. It's I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to answer. I don't know. I don't think we have a fan base. We just have a lot of friends.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's a great way to say it. Missy you're about to see us pop on here, but I mean, honestly, it's family. I mean, we even say that when we have a Scars Nation. It's our dedicated fan group, if you will.
Okay.
And so, I mean, even when new people join, it's not, hey, thanks for joining. Hey, thanks for being a fan. It's welcome to the family. And, ultimately, some of these people may have been here for a week. Some have been here for, a few years, but, and I think anybody that's in that circle will tell you that we're the same people that you're talking to right now when you catch us out in public. We're not trying to wear a mask. I'm not trying to be something I'm not. And, ultimately just being real, man. It's amazing how when in a world that is so superficial, it's amazing what being real will get you. Some people, it pisses them off, though. They don't like real people. But that's okay. They can go somewhere else.
I love you so much for saying that, man. Absolutely, dude. If you're not genuine with me, like, you can just hit the bricks, man. Like,
ain't nobody got time for that.
No, dude. Like, we're here for one life, man. Like, don't take it for granted by being a piece of trash.
Yeah. Yeah, I say it all the time. I'm like, whenever we have decisions and things we gotta like make as a band, I'm always telling them, rely on your guys. You pick them to be in this band. Like, if it's a guitar part or whatever, you picked your guitar player. He's the person that you said should be the guy. Let him do it. Same thing with your friends. They're your friends. They're your friends. Let them tell you how they feel. Interact. Doesn't mean you can't disagree with them, but they're in your life. You chose them to be there, so what they have to say is significant. It should be. Otherwise, why did you pick them?
Right. I agree, and I love that you guys call the fan base family, or friends, because I find myself often thinking, like, fans kind of just, to me, sound so derogatory. It's like, I don't really care for. I'm not saying there's anything against calling, the people that follow you fans or whatever. I'm not saying that. Just for me, I find it derogatory, and it's like, I always call, because I have my own solo project. I have my own that I call community or family, because without the cultivation of what they've given me, like, I wouldn't be anything. Like, I wouldn't be in anybody's ears, and, like, I wouldn't be in anybody's homes listening or anything like that. And it's it's really, really cool to see the artists give back to the family that they've cultivated like that. So thank you, truly. Like, that's awesome to hear from you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate that. I mean, I feel the same sentiment. I mean, the people, and I say it. I mean, you'll if you come to a show, you'll hear me say it. I say it every single show. We would not get to do this if it weren't for people like you. What's up, Steve? Hey,
Boy.
I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, and I hate to see it when you see these bands that have caught some success, and they kind of you forget where they came from a little bit. And one of the things that we're really big on is giving back in the community. I mean, and ultimately, that's a perfect segue to talking about the show that we have coming up later this month. We have two hometown shows this year, and both of them are going to be for charity. I mean, that's just, when you build a platform and the people have helped you lift it up, what's the best thing you can do is to give back to those people that have lifted you up. And that's Patrick SpongeBob's need to spend. So May 25th coming up, Rooster Olympics at the Rooster in Gastonia, North Carolina. 14 bands on this bill. A lot of ones that we would call really close homies. A lot of ones that we played a lot of shows with over the years. And second annual, we're doing this for the second time. We were blessed to be a part of it last year. This time it's go big or go home. And we're stoked about it, man. All the benefits, all the proceeds are going to benefit Webb Street School, which is a special needs school in Gastonia, North Carolina. They don't get the funding they need to be able to support. Thank you. They don't get the funding they need to be able to support the students that they have. Last year we were able to raise a little over $7,000 in total. and this year we're looking to double that or better. It's gonna be killer, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely. For those that I've told in the past, but there's a lot that don't know. I grew up a disabled child, so like that means the world to me to know that you guys are out there doing something to benefit people that don't have that quality of life experience. And it's a very it's a very sentimental subject to me as well. So I'm trying not to get too emotional about it, but it's seeing people that actually care about people that, I'm not going to say have it easy, like don't have it easy or anything like that, but seeing people care about people that aren't the normal status quo of society, it warms my heart, because there's just not a lot of light shed on it. So again, dude, thank you so much for what you guys are doing. Like
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And it's just another sentiment to our choice of friends and people we work with. I mean, these shows are not it's not just because we're so driven to be active in all these charities and stuff. That's not our intent. We're only, not that we wouldn't do it and serve our community, but it's just that we have, like, Michael Carpenter is the guy. This is something that's near and dear to him, and we start working with him, and this is something that's a huge thing for him. So, like your buddy, you're working on your house, you go help your buddy. He wants to raise money, you go help your buddy. So we're just there helping our friends, and you meet all these people who are into all these different things. It's like, well, yeah, I want to help you. I want to help you. we just go because we just like being around these people and doing what they're doing. But it's not because we're so charitable, but it just happens to work out that way, and we're happy to do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shout out Michael. Shout out Missy, creative music management. None of this happens without them. It's been a passion project for Michael, and God bless, he's now on top of being a venue owner and an absolute critical piece of the Charlotte/North Carolina music scene. Now he's taking on the role of a full-time caregiver for his son, and those are things that we, on the surface, you don't get to know people you don't know that, right? And it's a testament to one of the things we're blessed to have an amazing team behind us, an amazing group around us, and that the beauty of it is everybody supports one another. I think something you'll learn about this North Carolina music scene as you go through some of your interviews with some of these guys, unlike some of the other stuff you're going to hear out in different scenes across the country, this one supports one another.
It shows, dude.
It's really cool, and it wasn't that way just 6 years ago. It's been a massive shift. And again, man, you can't just talk about it. You got to get out and do it, right? You can't talk about supporting the music scene. Get out and do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier said than done as a full-time dad and full-time job and doing the things, but if it's important, you make time.
Absolutely. So while we're on the subject of shows, and we've already discussed the Rooster Olympics, the second annual one, what was tongue-tied over here? Let's try this again, eh? What's the first story that comes to mind of a show, like one of your shows? What's the very first story? Don't even think about it.
Right off the bat, I think of Travis breaking his ankle.
Oh, okay. How did that happen?
I don't want to throw him under the bus, Jim. So
we don't have to do it. Just tell her what happened.
No. So we were playing now known as Hangar 1819 up in Greensboro, formerly the Blind Tiger. So literally first song of the night, come out on stage, getting ready to go. And I'm stoked. We got a 45-minute set this night. We're in a co-headlining slot. We're ecstatic, right? First song of the night. The sound guy that night was a fill-in. Ron, our usual guy, as curmudgeon as he may be sometimes, he was an excellent sound man. But the sound guy, he had left a stage box, a power stage box, just laying in the middle of the stage.
Oh no.
Okay, I'll take some blame. I should have been paying attention. But I'm full on blinders. It's time to go. Like it's go time. And first thing, I go jump off the drum riser, land right on top of this box, roll my ankle inward, and I played 45 minutes on a broken foot. It was really fun. It was really fun.
My God.
I limped back up the hill. And if you've ever been to Blind Tiger or Hangar 1819, there is this hill, and I'm saying it is a hill. I limped back all the way and made it. Little girl had to help Travis up the hill. Yeah, Missy did. She dragging my butt up that hill, man. Never again. That foot still hurts too, man. I'm not gonna lie, it still hurts when it gets cold.
I hate to do this. My cat is wanting out. Give me just 1 second. He's driving me.
Yeah, no worries, dude.
That's crazy. My neighbor's dog just rolled in behind me. I'm like, whose dog is that?
I'll be right back, fellas.
What's up, buddy?
Yep, I did. I had that pimplet. I don't know if it was so pimped though, Steve. I looked like overall it turned out to be 2 full broken bones in my foot. I was in a boot for like 10 weeks after that. Little girl had to help Travis up the hill, sing the chant. Yeah, no, Missy, I mean, you've been a big part of that, so kudos to you. Mandy K said it's an amazing venue, talking about the Rooster.
Oh,
Now
yeah,
it's
yeah.
you got to give Michael all the credit in the world, and it's not just Michael. That entire team he has in that place is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Jim, aside from the story of Travis rolling his ankle, do you have any stories to add?
Oh God. We run tracks in our show, and when I first joined the band, we were using a laptop, and the way it works with the laptop is you hit the button like the space bar, and it starts your show. And basically, you're once you hit go, your show starts. There's no stopping. You can't pick it up in the middle. You're going, and if you mess up, anywhere in between, it's coming off the rails. And you can tell exactly how long your show is going to be. If it's going to be 45 minutes and 13 seconds, that's how long you'll play, because it's all on the computer. Well, it's all fun and great unless something goes wrong. And there's been several times where, like in our ear, I was wearing in-ears at the time, and I'm tied to the click track to keep us on with the track. If I get off, we're off, and there's no going back. And I don't know. There was one show at Amos's where we were having connectivity problems, and it was I think it was Disease we were playing, and we got off into this, and there was one spot where it just dropped off completely. I had nothing in my ears, and I'm just playing, and I'm actually watching Travis's butt to keep time because I can't hear anything, and I'm hoping we're on time, and all of a sudden it comes right back on in the chorus, and I'm like, there's no way this is going to meet, and it worked. It came back on. And after that, I told him, I said, we have to change something because I cannot go through this again.
So was it like twerking to the rhythm of it? Is that what was going on?
I wasn't really checking out the dance moves. It was more just like, is that the one? Is that the two?
I'm a foot tapper. So he's watching the flex. That's what he's doing. Don't get it twisted.
I was grasping for straws at that point, so I didn't care anything. I mean, there's been some videos. Have you ever seen them of other bands where the same thing has happened? And like the roadie comes in and he's tapping the drummer in the back to keep time, just so he has. I mean, they're phenomenal stories, but I feel their pain, and it gets me sweaty and all anxious every time I see them. I'm just like, oh.
It's Chris Hour said it was the skinny jeans. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because otherwise I ain't got a butt.
Yeah.
I just want it to be known to all bands, whenever your click track fails, just look at the singer's butt, and then you can keep time that way magically. It works.
I didn't know that, Jim. That's funny.
You all just made my night with that one. Oh my God.
Well, it'll make sense when we meet in person. I don't have an ass. I suffer from this whole thing. I'm a North American long back. Okay. Yeah.
So like, yeah. Oh man. All right. Let's see if we can get this back on track real quick. So another song that I wanted to ask you about was Wish I Was. What was it like diving into the psyche of your own to write that one?
So over the last few years, I'm gonna be honest with you, and again, the theme of the night's honesty, right? This is a conversation that I had personally with, at the time, what I thought was, it was me trying to find my way back into my faith, and I had this epiphany in writing the song, and actually, my wife Tina, she helped me with some of this in the wording, right? But it's basically me pleading out for help, and then basically God, you'll hear the clean parts of me singing are me telling my part, right? And then funny enough, the screamy parts are and then the chorus is the resolution, right? And then God is basically telling me, I wish I was the place you would call home. Like I'm here. All you got to do is just say it. All you got to do is give me the word, and you have a place to call home. And I think and it speaks to men specifically. Now, not throwing any shame out to the women out in our audience, especially on Mother's Day. By the way, happy Mother's Day to all the women watching today. But men don't get the grace in our society that women do. They have each other to lean on. Men, we tend to bottle things up, right? We think we can handle it. We have broad shoulders, so we try to bear the load. And oftentimes that leaves you at the end of a rope. And if you're trying to do it all on your own, a lot of times it's going to leave you right where you started. And, we can be as strong as we humanly possibly want to be, but that's what it is. We're human. And, faith is something that's difficult for some, and I get that. But that was me exploring that. And, and you'll notice a theme in a couple of the songs since Wish I Was, that a lot of that is very spiritually based in the writing. I don't try to be super in your face about it, but I'm taking more of a stance in that realm lately. I'm not ashamed of it. It is what it is, but ultimately that's kind of where it is. And then ultimately, finally in that final chorus, you'll hear where there's one word that changes. And it says, when it says, I wish I was the place you call home. And instead of saying one day, I hope you'll know the places we can go. And now and basically in the final one, it says, let's go to these places. Right. And it's basically the resolve, and you can kind of feel it on the outro breakdown where it just kind of fades. I wanted that to really just kind of go through all the emotion in that conversation. Cause for me, it was tumultuous, man. That internal, the fighting your own ego and fighting your own id. Right. It's difficult at times. So, I'm a very faith-based person these days, so I'm not trying to be on a pedestal or anything, but if there's anybody out there watching who's struggling with some stuff, I would urge you to, the best place for you to be is on your knees, and not in the way you might be thinking.
Very fair, man. I'm open to every belief here. I don't shun anything. I'm all for whatever helps. What helps get you through life. What gives you that moral compass. And I don't normally touch on religion or anything, but I grew up in a Pentecostal church myself. Honestly, I'm not I'm not practicing it anymore. It's just my own personal thing, but I don't try and shun anybody that finds acceptance through it, if that makes sense. So another one that I wanted to ask you about was stand up and fight. That one, man, you talk about relevancy. That one is relevant to every part of the world right now. Because, like you said, it deals with the state of the world. And what I mean, like you said, in the description, I apologize, people. Podcasting is a predominantly, audio-based. But no, in the description of it, like you said, it's about the state of the world and how it's falling into decay and how we have to stand up and fight for it. Aside from obviously the songwriting process on that, what was going through your head when you were thinking about writing that?
All I'd say is turn on the TV. I mean, and I hate to say it that way, but man, we are faced with more division as humankind than we've ever been faced with in our life. The days of being able to agree to disagree are long gone. Social media has highlighted so many. Have you if you take 15 minutes and scroll on social media? It's venom, it's vitriol.
Mm-hmm.
People are attacking one another on a regular basis. The TV is telling you that the world is ending, that the sky is falling. And I hate to tie it back to an old children's story, but it's Chicken Little. It's the sky is falling, the sky is falling, aliens are coming, the aliens are coming. We've been told so many times that that what we as humans aren't good enough. We aren't doing this, we aren't doing that. Meanwhile, the talking heads on TV, all they're doing is dividing us, man. And the opening line of the song, there's a devil, it's the old devil on one shoulder, the angel on the other, right? The devil's telling me that you gotta just to give in, while the angel's telling you you gotta get up, man. You can't lay down and take this. And I think we as a society, we have to take the power back. We've rolled over too many times, and it's a little on the nose. I'm usually not writing in that perspective, on the nose kind of situation, but that one was just, it's too easy. And you're seeing it. You're seeing it with a lot of bands right now. There's a highlighting of that whole situation that's going on with, just the division, man. And it boggles my mind. We just love one another. Kindness costs nothing.
Yeah. Right. And to me, to take it a step further, another thing that what stuck out to me about it was also in this kind of politically correct world. It's not cool anymore to stand your ground, to say what you feel. And to me, I was like, this is the words that are telling these people, hey, there are things that are worth fighting for. There's your relationships, your friendships, your family, and it's hard sometimes to be honest to people and tell them what they need to hear, or even honest with yourself, but it's worth fighting for. If it's anything worth having, it's worth fighting for. So that's, I think, for me, what it hit. It's just stand up and fight and get what you need. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
Amen.
So while we're on the topic of, division being spread throughout, here's a divisive topic that I like to bring up to my guests that are obviously active on social media. How do you feel social media has helped as a band, but also what are the drawbacks of it for your own personal sake?
Wow.
I think the obvious is, the reach. The opening up yourself to audiences, whether it be across the pond or in different markets that you would not normally be able to reach as a regional band like us. The downside, I think we've already kind of touched on to a degree. There's, and I love it when it happens, to be honest with you, because I'm a big fan of Kill 'Em With Kindness. The guy that jumps on who hates everything, who wants to just down talk you, and it's like, hey, thanks so much for your opinion, man. We really appreciate you. I hope you check out some things in the future. I love killing people with kindness because it makes you feel like a dumbass because now you're talking crap to somebody who actually doesn't care. At the end of the day, but social media has created anti-socialism. That's what it is. Social media has created where we all feel like we could say whatever the hell's on our mind without repercussion. And it's dangerous. It's a dangerous place to be, man.
It absolutely is. It's breeding a whole generation of I hope this doesn't get me canceled, but of people that, need to be punched in the mouth sometimes.
That's while you were talking about that, it made me think of that Mike Tyson quote.
The thing you see on Facebook.
Yeah, he said if people are over here, what do you say, talking on social media like they can't get punched in the mouth or something like that.
Yeah,
it's true.
And funny enough, he's about to go fight one of them on pay-per-view.
Yeah,
very fair. He's facing Jake Paul, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
Such a weird.
Jake or Logan?
I can't remember. They're both a joke.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. Sean Flaherty says, "Good advice, Travis." And then Missy Woods says, "You said what I wanted to say." So
Yeah, Missy, and a pun fully intended here, but Missy doesn't pull punches. She says what's on her mind unapologetically.
Jake Paul.
Yeah, Jake Paul. Yes.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. He knows he's a fight guy. But no, and I mean, and honestly, I think that's one of the things that Missy and I have clicked so well over the years with is that, you know, we can be honest with one another, and at the end of the day, guess what? We're still friends. Oh, what a novel concept.
Man, it makes me sad how rare that quality is in a friendship anymore, because it's like, if you don't agree with everything that somebody says to the letter, you're not an actual friend in their eyes. And I'm like, man, what happened to individuality and embracing each other's individuality and our flaws and, you know, just coming together? I know
you
we're
want to live in an echo chamber. I've never understood that.
You won't grow or get any better if people aren't criticizing you.
That's how I feel a lot of times. Like, social media for me is a necessary evil. Like, you know, nobody's ever gonna know about anything that I do unless I use it, and that's the unfortunate truth. But if it was up to me, I would probably just wipe myself off of all of social media, because it's just it can be exhausting at times. You know, just like there's so much like division, like we were talking about earlier. I know we're coming up on time. I wanted to try to get you guys out of here in about the hour time frame, but I do want to ask you the genesis and the way that it came to be of Write This Story.
So, I mean, ultimately it's, you know, basically the same kind of concept, right? It's, you know, take a look in the mirror, ask yourself who you want to be. You have an opportunity to write that story. And ultimately, do you want to fall down on your burdens? Do you want to be a victim of circumstance, or do you want to change your circumstance? And I think that's really what that song is. I mean, completely centered around. You know, ultimately, you can be the one that lets yourself down, or you can be the one that picks yourself up. And there's too many people that fall victim to the circumstance. And I've seen it time and time again where, you know, it's, oh, well, this is happening to me. This is happening to me. Okay, well, what are you changing? You know, what changes are you making to make those things not happen? If you're falling regularly into the same exact traps, maybe you need to find a different path, brother. You know, that's I mean, and that's that song. That's that song in a nutshell. I mean, even in the bridge, it says, "You were the one who thought you'd never let me down," and then it says, "I was the one who let myself down." And you know, ultimately, we only have ourselves to blame, right? It's whether you look at the external forces, they're not. That's a choice. You let that affect. Or but those choices that you made are what led you to that position. Whether it be the people you let in, the words you said, whatever you did. I mean, it's, you know, you can use whatever euphemism or idiom you want to use here. But I mean, that's really it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's today could be someday, or today could be day one in your journey. It's up to you.
Yep, man, you guys are awesome. Like, I had no idea. I knew this was going to be a very fun and just casual interview, but you guys have brought so much insight, and I appreciate that, like, so much. There's sometimes that people don't want to be as vulnerable and open up about the music that they're making. And I get that, you know, there's that side of the coin. But to me, I love getting to know the stories, man. I love getting to know the people behind what I'm listening to. And I definitely feel like I would love to have you guys back on at some point, maybe even like a full band, you know. As we're wrapping up, though, I did want to ask you, what is next for Scars Remain? Do you have the album coming out yet?
I'm gonna be honest, man. The album approach is dying.
In
the age of social media and the way people consume media right now, I think you are doing more disservice to yourself putting out an album than doing continual releases with singles. I can focus on releasing 6 to 8 singles a year, or 6 singles a year over, you know, an 8-week release cycle with quality content. I don't have to force a bunch of songs onto an album to fill time to call it an album. I can make sure that every song.
Yeah, we can make sure that not only that, it's not a bad thing. because I'm an album guy. I've got my favorites that I love to just put on and get lost in. But there are a lot of albums out there that have filler tracks, and I think those days are gone along with the album. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I mean, in bands that are out there right now, you're seeing it all over the place. The bands, even the big bands, are starting to abandon the full album release. Right? They're releasing single compilation, single compilation, single compilation. But yeah, right. Will, doing a few songs or singles is better than the album format because of the climate in the industry on all sides, right? We got to face it. Albums are dying. I mean, it's just the way
it
that
does
people
force you
consume
to,
media.
as an artist, it forces you to put up your best stuff because you don't have, everyone else is doing the same thing, and you're not throwing out a whole album. It's not going to take 2 years to come back around again. You've got to have that next one ready. And
Yeah.
it better be quality.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys. I kind of go back and forth between it being helpful and detrimental to me at the same time, because it's like I'm a album aficionado. I'm sure you can see right over here. Like I have like 100 freaking CDs just stacked on this CD rack right here, and I love going through, hearing the entire story. But I also understand in today's, like Will said, the climate, everything has changed. It's all about what have you given me lately that I need to listen to.
Right.
And for me, sometimes that affected my mentality of it. I was like, am I putting out the most quality work because I am rushing myself to still be seen? And do you all struggle with that as well?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, because again, to tie it all back to what you asked from the jump, it was never about that for me. If somebody gets to hear it, yeah, I mean, and we take the same approach with shows. I don't care if we're playing for 10 or 10,000. Everybody, they're going to get the same show, man. It's never been about that for me. Honestly, it doesn't matter. I do this because ultimately, if there are 10 people out there, one of those people might be able to take something away from one of our songs that's going to help them.
And most of the time too, you're wrong. Like you may pour all your energy into this one thinking this is it. This is the hit. I'm not going to put any love into this song because this is the hit, but you put it out there and everyone likes the other song. It's just like, so you never know what's going to touch who. So like Trav said, just write them all, put them out there and see what it does.
Yeah. Well, we got one question before we wrap up here. It's from Chris. Is it Hour? I hope I'm saying that right. Yeah. Even though that Barfest, don't get me started on that. I'll be here for another 5 days. Was a bust as a whole. How did it feel as a band to get picked to play it and be one of the 5 bands that actually got? Damn, I didn't expect that to take me out. I'm sorry, guys.
Damn, Chris throwing daggers, man. But let's take that in 2 parts. So first part, right, getting picked to play it, and I want to set the record straight. We were selected. We did not submit. We did not buy on. We were selected to play that show, and honestly, we had been working so hard at getting our names.
We were supposed to get paid.
Yeah. Well, so was everybody that worked the show.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but hey, it was an honor. It was really, and I don't want to say humbling because you would think it'd be the opposite, right? It would almost fuel the ego to a degree. But honestly, I got to go play a show with some of my biggest heroes in the rock and roll community, man. Well, I was supposed to be able to play with some of the biggest rock and roll idols, but it was really, I don't know, man, it was fulfilling, I would say. It felt like the culmination of, I mean, honestly, Jim, what'd you say? We busted our ass for 2 years getting ready, to be ready for that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the goal. That was what we wanted to reach, to be able to make that stage and to finally be able to do it. It was great. It was, God, I don't even know. To be there was fantastic. Just to even be part of it. It didn't go as well as we had hoped, the whole weekend anyway. No. But it was still an amazing experience. And either way, it was a great show. It was great to be with the guys and do the thing, man. That's all.
Shout out to Icon Pit Crew too, man. Yeah, the Icon Pit crew, I'm going to throw you the biggest love that I possibly can. Those guys have been, that group has been one of our biggest group of supporters. And we are thrilled and blessed to call them family, all of them at this point. And, it was really cool because Spoon came up on stage to introduce us for that show.
Oh man.
It was I don't know, man, it was a full circle moment. Like they had helped us and propped us up so much to get to that point. To have him come out and do the introduction for us was really a full circle moment. It was special.
Man. Well, in closing, where can everybody find Scars Remain?
You got it flowing across the bottom of the screen right now. That's the best place
to
That's the best place to keep up with everything we got going on. Our link tree stays updated with all the fresh happenings. It links to all of our social medias, links to all the fresh releases, and a merch store will be coming in the next couple of weeks. So keep your eyes peeled. We're going to be doing some print to order stuff on some of our back releases that have gone by the wayside, doing some one-off prints that have been no longer available. So if you see one of those shirts out in an audience that you've been really wanting to get your hands on that we don't have anymore, it'll be your chance. But as always, on any social media platform, you can find us at Scars Remain NC, and that'll take you where you want to go, man.
Damn.
Got a new video dropping pretty soon too, right?
Yeah, new video, new music video coming. Yeah, we got we got for like 5 bangers in the pipeline. It's thanks, Will. That means a lot, brother.
Appreciate that, brother. Yeah,
man.
Well,
just be real. Just be real, bro. That's it.
And I don't know about. I mean, I say this about all of them, but maybe it's just because they're fresh, but they're getting better and better and better. I can't wait for the next video drop, and then the 2 new ones they're not even finished yet. But I think, like Trav said, this is some of our best stuff. It is so fun to play.
I am definitely stoked to hear it, and I want to do my best to get down to a show to catch you guys. Unfortunately, like I've said before, just different disabilities kind of prohibit it right now. But if I can ever get a ride, I will be there catching the entire set with you all.
Awesome.
Truly, fellas, this has been such a wonderful episode. Thank you so much for doing this and coming on here and just being real, like Travis said. In a world of artificial intelligence, it seems we actually found some realness tonight, and it means the world to me. So with that being said, thank you for going beyond the breakdown with 6 Scars tonight. How are you all feeling?
I loved it, man. You're a blast. You're a great host too. You ask really smart, pointed questions, so it's appreciated.
Thank you.
It was my pleasure, man. It was an honor and a privilege, and it was just like hanging out with a buddy, man. We'd like to do it outside of the computer. Let's do it for real.
Yes. And then anytime you guys want to come back on, anytime you got a drop that you want to, promote or anything, I will do everything I can to promote it. And just once again, guys, thank you so much.
It's been an honor and a privilege, JT. Hey, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What's coming up for 6 Scars?
Okay, so 6 Scars, it's a little bit of a complicated thing right now. I'll round it up so it's not, word vomit, but I kind of put the page on hiatus due to a lot of personal struggles that I'm dealing with right now. But there are some things that I can say. I have 2 releases coming out. One with my boy Steve. If you haven't checked him out, you definitely check him out. He's trap metal, but he is just absolutely insane and all over the place. I think he just dropped a freaking EP. The dude drops more music than I do deuces on a daily basis, and it's like I don't know how to keep up with him. We have a great track coming out. It's going to be called Abusement Park. And then I have one with the very talented Melanie Nix coming out, and I will be able to reveal a little bit more of that on the 26th of this month when she's on the podcast.
Nice.
Cool.
So thank you, dude. Thank you for asking.
No worries, man. Hey, look, man, we take care of it. We take care of our own around here. So, hey, enjoy your time with Dying Oath next week, man. Josh Hagee is one of the most you got real after real coming up. He's one of the most real, down to earth human beings you're going to meet, man. And if you're watching, Josh or Dying Oath fam, we love you guys. Proud of everything you've accomplished. And look forward to seeing the interview with those guys next week. Hey, everybody watching right now, make sure you tune in to Beyond the Breakdown next week to hang out with Josh Hagee, Dying Oath, and then our boy JT right here hosting up the party. JT, it's been a pleasure, brother.
Dang. Thank you, guys. You have a wonderful night and have a great one.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man.
So that was... Wow, that was absolutely incredible is what that was. I am at a loss for words for how fun that was and how truly just wonderful that was to me. A little bit of a peek behind the curtain. Today's just been all over the place with a lot of different emotional things going on. But with that being said, thank you. Thank you to Travis and thank you to Jim of Scars Remain for coming on here and just talking, and just having a great time and getting me distracted enough that I didn't need to think about certain things. With that being said, thank you for going beyond the breakdown with 6 Scars. As Travis mentioned, I have Josh Hagee from Dying Oath coming up next week. I can't wait. That's going to be so killer. Happy Mother's Day to everybody that is a mother. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers that are doing full-time duty as both the mother and the father. Our society wouldn't be where we are without the mothers that shape them. So from my heart to yours, I truly thank you. With that being said, guys, you have a wonderful night.